Hi guys, I'm Bex Trista, and I'm here with Albert, who's one of the creators behind Arca's Path, which is an absolutely beautiful VR game which you play just by moving your head. How did you come up with such an idea?
So very early on in development we didn't really have a target platform in mind. We knew we wanted to do VR, but we didn't really know which platform, so we decided we wanted to try and make something that was really universal, something that would work on any headset. So yeah, we decided to ditch the controller, just do head movement. But it's actually worked out really nicely, you know. You get a lot of fidelity with the head controls.
It's really subtle movements allow you to kind of go with the flow, and it's kind of a meditative kind of game. There's something really dreamlike about it.
You forget you're controlling it sometimes, and you can just really zone in and.
It's an incredibly peaceful experience. I mean, in some ways it's quite a challenging game, but it just makes you feel like you're kind of floating in this dreamscape, and those beautiful colours you've got going, the visuals, the sounds, everything feeds into a really relaxing yet challenging puzzle experience.
We wanted to do something that maybe was slightly different from the other stuff that you're seeing out there. A lot of people, think VR, they immediately go into first-person experiences where you're a character within the world, whereas this is much more, traditional platforming gameplay, ball rolling gameplay.
But with that full 3D virtual reality environment around you.
Yeah, exactly. It's a kind of new spin on an old form.
Yeah, and it feels very fresh and it feels very different. It's also ridiculously accessible because you're just using the head control. It opens up the gameplay to such a wide range of people.
Yep. We've been able to put it on people who aren't even really gamers. Physics-based games are always quite intuitive because if the physics is working properly, you kind of know what you expect to happen. And then it's just a simple control system. You don't need to teach anyone any buttons, so you can put it on them and away they go.
And people that are less mobile, less able as well, as long as you have fine motor control in the head, you can play this game in its entirety without needing any modification, any changes, and that's something that is really an interesting thing to see in the world of VR as well.
Yeah, something that's really lovely about being here at EGX is you get lots of people coming over and playing it, and people who might not necessarily be able to play games in VR because VR typically requires lots of movement, people being able to fully turn around or dodge out the way of stuff.
Or lots of space even, just like a larger living room than most UK houses have. And this just allows you to sit or stand as you want and to move around that environment. And just people sort of were saying to me the other day that after they'd played it, it sort of felt like they'd been meditating slightly. So it gave them a very sort of feeling of calm and well-being, which is pretty unique for a puzzle game as well, because normally they make you feel very frustrated and shouty. So I think that's quite a good balance you've managed to strike there too.
Something we're really pleased about, basically.
So explain a little bit about the storyline for this game and how that works.
So we're sort of calling the overall idea behind the story a sci-fi fairy tale. So we're taking elements of sci-fi and merging it with traditional fairy tale archetypes and stories. So you play as this young girl who's kind of this completely poor, lives in this scrap heap in this dark dystopian future. She doesn't have a particularly pleasant life, and she goes out every day into the scrap heap to scavenge for all of the junk and try and find stuff of value that she can sell. And one day she finds this really strange, mysterious object which looks a bit like a mask, so she decides to put it on her face, and she's immediately transported into this fantastical, fantasy world. And she really loves it there. It makes, for the first time in her life, she's got something fun to do. But then after a while, it breaks. And she's suddenly like, oh no, I've lost this wonderful thing that was meant so much to me.
This dream state that she could enter.
So she kind of sets about trying to fix it, and she finds someone who might help her along the way. But there's a few twists and turns, as with most fairy tales, things aren't always what they
spoilers
seem.
that we can't tell you right now. But it's also lovely to have that depth of plot and narrative and emotional driven storyline within something that is predominantly could be called a platform puzzler in some ways.
It's a kind of abstract, ball rolling games are a pretty abstract concept.
And you've managed to work in something that is very emotive and makes you feel very much like there's a connection between you and the protagonist, even though a lot of the time they're portrayed as an object on screen. And I think that's something that's very admirable, and I'm really impressed with how you've managed to get that across.
Oh, thanks. I mean, we were really keen that you had a good connection to the board, and we want to make sure that you remember it's a girl, so you'll notice that the in-between levels she'll always change back. The
animations, or those subtle cues that let you know what this is and how it works and how the pieces fit together. But it's absolutely stunning, and I felt myself being drawn, even just with doing the intro levels that you've got here. I did feel myself emoting with a ball.
With the ball,
with the girl, with the ball, and so it definitely works, and it is wonderful to see that kind of approach. So when did you start developing this, and when do you expect to be able to release it?
So we started development in January this year, 2018. It's been a pretty intense 10 months, and we're sort of releasing December the 4th. Yeah, on
That's a really quick turnaround for something this detailed. You must not be sleeping at all.
Yeah, it's not been too bad. We've got a very good team working on it, and we've all been really into the project, and it's been a fun year.
Yeah, and it looks like people are really enjoying it as well, so it's getting some great feedback for you guys too. And it's always wonderful to have that kind of player interaction, so you can feed that back into your development before release as well. Yeah,
we've been getting some really good feedback. Hopefully not made anyone feel particularly ill, so that's nice. And
no, I think it's for a VR game, and nothing's moving at such a pace that it could. So people that have trouble with sort of headaches and motion sickness with VR, probably this one is a good bet for them to still be able to play it as well.
Yeah, we've worked really hard on getting that right, and we're kind of really pleased with the results.
Awesome. Where can people find you? Have you got a website or an online presence?
Yeah, we've got a website. It's arcaspath.com. And also Rebellion have published it, so that Rebellion website will also have lots of information. And
awesome. Well, I'll put the links to the arcaspath.com and other things down in the description below. Thank you very much for bringing this game. It's absolutely stunning. I love everything about this one, and thanks for letting me have a go at it.
Thanks very
much.
It's
a wonderful game. If you guys can try it out, I do recommend it, and I look forward to seeing it released at the end of the year.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.